here today in VKY's Glasgow offices with Alex Croucher, one of the directors at VKY Intelligent Automation. Alex, can you tell us a little bit about what VKY Intelligent Automation is all about?
Sure. So we're Scottish born and bred, despite my accent. We're now one of the UK's leading automation partners. We create capacity for some of UK's biggest known brands by increasing their productivity through the use of software automation.
Okay, Alex, VKY have been the primary sponsor on our shirts for the last 4 or 5 years now. Just tell us what made you get involved with Kilbride Rugby in the first place.
So VKY want to make a difference in the communities where we live and work. Sponsoring grassroots sport is a really, really important one to us. And with EK we've got shared values. We've got a desire to increase participation in the game. The work that we've been supporting to, for example, invest in the women's section. EK have made huge progress there over the last few years. The size of the youth section, and the participation that's generating. There's even been some disability like training sessions to get people more involved in the sport. So those shared values are what has really attracted us to EK. There are other clubs that are doing that as well. I've mentioned Hillfoots earlier on. But another really important thing, and our chairman Keith is standing just off camera. He's had an association with EK since he was 22. He's now he says he's in his 70s, but we think it's a little north of that. And he's been involved this entire time. So it just made absolute sense that an organisation that shares our value, that we've got a long association with, we should support.
So Alex, we were talking before, you are a very keen rugby man yourself. Tell us a little bit about your love of the game and where it's taken you.
Okay, so I started playing when I was 12. You wouldn't believe it now, but I started as a second row. And as everybody else kept going and I didn't, I moved to the back row, then to the centres, then the wing, and eventually I was so small I ended up as a scrum half. I've been lucky enough to play all over the world really. I've played in America, I've played in Russia, I've played in Singapore, and eventually I settled in Scotland, and I played briefly for Brackies before retiring due to numerous injuries, and started coaching. So I began coaching at my local club, which is Hillfoots, and I'd initially said, don't want to coach kids, not interested, just adults. And they said, well, what about the under-18s? So I said, okay, well, fine. What about the under-16s? That's where we really need a coach. So I turned up, and most of the players were actually under 13 and under 14. But when my son got to an age to start playing, we got him. It'd been through rugby tournaments, and we got him involved in the P1s. And I was coming down every week to watch. One day the coach said he couldn't be there the following week, and I was a level 2 qualified coach, so I said, well, I'll stand in for the week. It was only when I stood in that I realised how tough a job it is to coach really young kids, and how hard he was having to work to do it with zero support. So after that I said, right, I'm going to help you out. 7 years later, I've moved up each year with my son, and now coaching a P6-7 group and getting ready to move up to S1.
So Alex, you mentioned there that you've got your P6, P7 team. Just tell us a little bit about how you manage leading one of the premier UK leading intelligent automation firms, along with your home life, along with your rugby life. How do you manage to juggle all of that?
I'm not going to say it's always easy. It does come with challenges, but I think it's really, really important for kids and adults to to have hobbies, to be involved in things outside of work, to have a purpose, and fortunately my son really likes it. He absolutely loves his rugby, and I want to be able to support him in doing that. It's an opportunity for us to bond, be closer, do something together. But the satisfaction that you get from seeing kids that you've been working with for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years now, and the differences in both their skill level, but also their the level of character that they're showing, and you share in their achievements. We recently got to the final of the Strathendrick festival. It's the biggest minis festival in Scotland, and the pride that they played with. We're a small club, P6, 7 mixed group playing up against P7s. We beat some of the big Glasgow clubs, and it was seeing the pride that they played with, that character, the teamwork, all the values that you associate with rugby, and then the attitude that they had and the respect that they were showing to themselves, and you just can't beat it, and I can't imagine not being involved.
Okay, last question, Alex. Build up to Murrayfield this coming Saturday. How are we feeling? How's VKY feeling?
So we're absolutely buzzing. I'm a little bit nervous about it. A little bit anxious. I can't imagine how the players are actually feeling. How excited they must be. I told my son a night or two ago that we're going to come down to Murrayfield and support. And I've not stopped hearing about it since. He's so excited to be part of it. Even though it's not his club, he just wants to be involved in rugby and a big day out.
Right, okay, thank you very much for your continued support and partnership with Kilbride Rugby, and we'll see you Saturday. We are in VKY Intelligent Automation offices with 285-time capped first team player Chris McClellan ahead of Murrayfield this Saturday. Okay, a couple of questions with you.
Cool.
First one is, tell us a little bit about your rugby journey.
Sure. So I started my rugby journey at high school down at Cafkin High in Cambuslang. Kind of thanks to a PE teacher called Jimmy Reid and a biology teacher called Alistair Jones. Encouraged me to come along because, to be honest, I couldn't play football. So basically, I had been there, played for Cafkin, and then went along to the local rugby club, Cambuslang, played there for a few years, and then at 16 I came to East Kilbride Rugby Club thanks to Bobby Dalglish and his boy Alistair, who I was playing districts at the time with, and ever since I've been there from 16 right up to 36. I'll be 37 on the Monday after the final, so you can say I've been about a bit.
Good. So Murrayfield this upcoming Saturday, tell us how you're feeling.
Now, at the minute, I'm not. Surprisingly, I don't feel nervous. I think Thursday, Friday, that'll be when the nerves will kick in. For me, I just want to enjoy it. I know I don't have long left in a rugby career, so I know I need to enjoy this week, the lead up into Tuesday, which is today, lead into Thursday, right into Saturday. Enjoyed that experience. I was there in 2007 in a support capacity, so I was involved in that kind of the build up, but not in the playing side. But this time I want to be there, involved in the playing side. Want to be on that pitch. That's my goal, to be on that pitch and representing East Kilbride.
And Chris, you mentioned there you've got an upcoming birthday on Monday. 37 years old. Will we see Chris McClellan play at 37 next season?
So I had to negotiate with the boss, Gillian, my wife, but I'll be looking to commit to next season and playing again.
Good stuff. Okay, Chris, you mentioned that you have went through multiple generation and players, but just take us back to when you came into the first team. How was that integration from sort of the academy moving into the senior squad?
So for me, it was pretty easy, and I think that's really down to the team ethos, being there, being a young individual. We had individuals within those squads, even that would take you aside and talk to you about something that you didn't particularly do well, and coach you through that. And as I've grown through the years. I've tried to instill the kind of the same mentality as I was that was installed in me when I first joined, especially for people who are coming from the academy and also people joining in from different clubs.
I'm really happy over the years to be able to now give back something to the club that I got from the club over my initial 20 years playing. But it's great to see the club develop, grow, to have the mini rugby continue to come through with the middies, and then the development of these guys into the first team. It's fantastic to see that, and also now to have the women involved and have a good, solid, strong women's division with their team doing so well. It's fantastic. So yeah, long may it continue.